Hi, this is Mrs. Young, and this lesson is on the second day of Lesson 5. Remember I mentioned yesterday that Lesson 5 is going to be covered over 3 days, so this is our second day of Lesson 5. Right now I'd like you to get out your packet and open it up to page 20, and on page 20 there is a graph. And it says Emily has an account that she uses to pay for her food expenses. The graph below shows the amount in her account based on the number of weeks that have gone by. Use the graph to help you answer the following. So I'd like you to answer questions 1 through 4. It's kind of a short bell ringer. Just answer questions 1 through 4 using that graph. You will notice that you do need a calculator for today's lesson. I don't think you need it for the bell ringer, but we will be using it today in class. So make sure you have a calculator or whatever you're using as a calculator handy. So go ahead and pause the video and work on the bell ringer. So here's the answer to our bell ringer. Number 1 says, how much does Emily start with in her account? Remember, the starting point is your y-intercept, and you can see on the graph that it intercepts right there at 900. So she's starting with 900 in her account. Number 2, how much is Emily spending each week? Again, the amount you're spending per week, that's your rate of change or your slope. So you can see I drew a little slope triangle. You can tell that the y-axis is going by hundreds. So if you go down 1 and over 2, you're going down 100 and to the right 2, which gives you a slope or rate of change of -50. That means that she's spending $50 each week. How many weeks will it take Emily to have used 1/3 of the money in her account? Well, what's 1/3 of 900? 1/3 of 900 is 300. How long will it take for her to have spent $300 to go from 900 down to 600, right? It will take her 6 weeks to spend $300. And then number 4, after 12 weeks, how much will she have in her account? Again, you can see that it keeps going down by 50 each time. Right here, after 10 weeks, we're at 400. At 11 weeks, you'd be at 350, and then at 12 weeks, you'd be at 300. So she would have $300 left in her account after 12 weeks. So a quick review of our bell ringer. Next, I'd like you to turn in your packet, to your homework, which was on page 26. So let's turn to page 26 where the homework from last night was. I'm going to go over those answers with you real quick. Yesterday, we talked about coming up with an equation given a point and a slope. So here in number 1, we have a slope of -1/6. Our x value is 12, our y value is -2, and we plug those values into y equals mx plus b. When we substitute them in, then we have to solve the equation. Remember how to solve this equation. You multiply -1/6 times 12 and get -2. Then to solve for b, you're going to add the 2 over. -2 plus 2 is 0, so you actually have a y-intercept of 0. So your equation is y equals -1/6x plus 0. Again, make sure you're showing the work of solving the equation. In number 2, we have a slope of 2, and our x value is 14, our y value is 33. Again, I plug those into y equals mx plus b. Again, to solve the equation, 2 times 14 is 28. To move the 28 to the other side, I subtract it from both sides. 33 minus 28 is 5. That means I have a y-intercept or b value of 5. So again, taking that slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, you take the slope of 2 and then the y-intercept that you just solved for, 5, plug it in to get your equation, y equals 2x plus 5. In number 3, taking your slope and point, plug it in, do the same type of calculations. You should have gotten a b value of -2. So the equation is y equals -7x minus 2. And then the last one, again, taking the slope and point, plug it in. When you solve this, you should get a y-intercept of 8. So again, our equation is y equals 1/2 x plus 8. So again, yesterday in our lesson, we talked about how to come up with an equation given a slope and a point. We're going to come back and review this later because I know that's kind of new to you. Next, I'd like you to turn in your packet to where we took our notes yesterday. So turn in your packet to where lesson 5 is. I think this is on page 24 of your packet. So again, you're on page 24 of your packet. Let me write that down so I don't forget, page 24. So yesterday, again, we talked about writing equations from a point and a slope. But today we're going to talk about how to write your equation if I give you 2 points or 2 ordered pairs. So instead of giving you a point and a slope, I'm going to give you 2 ordered pairs. From 2 ordered pairs, start by calculating. Again, the thing that we can calculate with 2 points is slope. So we're going to take those 2 points and calculate our slope using our slope formula. Let's write it down. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to use that slope formula. Plug the 2 points into the slope formula. Then choose one of the ordered pairs. And then you're going to, just like the last time, you're going to substitute the slope and the ordered pair into y equals mx plus b and solve for b. So very similar to what we did yesterday, except we're adding in an extra step up front where you have to calculate the slope first, then use the slope and one of the points to solve for b. And then once you have b, you can write the equation. So these are a little bit longer problems than we saw yesterday because there's an extra step at the beginning where you calculate your slope. So again, here's the 4 problems that we did together yesterday where we took the slope and the point, plugged it in, solved for b, and then wrote our equation. Let's go ahead and turn over to the next page. So we're going to turn over to page 25, and we're going to work on writing equations in slope-intercept form given 2 points on the line. So again, when you're given 2 points, the first thing you want to do here on page 25, let's go ahead and label the first point. -4 is going to be our x1, 0 is your y1, 1 is your x2, and 5 is your y2. So we're going to go ahead and take those numbers and plug them into the slope formula. So again, remember your slope formula. Maybe I'll write it down one more time for you. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So as I plug these numbers into the slope formula, y2 is 5 minus y1 is 0 over x2 is 1 minus x1 is -4. So 5 minus 0 is 5. 1 minus a -4, that's really 1 plus 4 is 5. And we always simplify or reduce this. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. So I have an m value or slope of 1. So now we can take that slope and one of the points. It doesn't matter which point because you have 2 points here, but let's say that I went ahead and I took the first point. I'm going to consider -4 my x value and 0 my y value. And again, I have a slope value of 1. I can take these numbers and plug them into slope-intercept form, just like we did yesterday. So again, take y equals mx plus b. We're going to plug 0 in for y. I'm going to plug 1 in for m. I'm going to plug -4 in for x, and I'm going to solve for b. Well, obviously, 1 times -4 is -4. To solve this for b, I have to add the 4 over to the other side. So 0 plus 4, I get a 4 for my b value. Now that I know my slope and my b value, I can write the equation. Y equals 1x plus 4. So there's our equation in slope-intercept form. Again, this second part is just like what we did yesterday. The difference is that we're adding in a step at the beginning where we first have to calculate our slope. So let's go ahead and move over to number 6. Again, 4 is my x1, -2 is my y1, -4 is my x2, -4 is my y2. I'm going to plug these into the slope formula. So I'm going to say -4 minus a -2 over -4 minus 4. -4 minus a -2 is actually -4 plus 2. -4 plus 2 is -2. -4 minus 4 is -8. Can I reduce this? Sure. A negative divided by negative becomes a positive, and then 2 divided by 8, 2/8 reduces to 1/4. So I get a slope value of 1/4. Always make sure you reduce or simplify your slope. Now we're going to take our slope and one of the points and plug it into slope-intercept form and solve for b. I don't care which point you choose. Let's say that I just choose the first point. I'll say 4 is my x, -2 is my y, and I'm going to plug these into slope-intercept form. So again, take that slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. We're going to plug -2 in for y. I'm going to plug 1/4 in for m. I'm going to plug 4 in for x, and I'm going to have to solve for b. Again, first step here is to multiply these two values together. 1/4 times 4 is 1. And then to solve this for b, I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, so I get a b value of -3. So again, using our slope and our y-intercept, I can write the equation. Y equals 1/4 x minus 3. Again, there are more steps involved in this process than yesterday's problems because you first have to calculate your slope. Let's try number 7. Again, here, -4 is my x1, -2 is my y1, -3 is my x2, and 5 is my y2. Then I can take these values and plug them into my slope formula. So I can say 5 minus a -2 over -3 minus a -4. 5 minus a -2 is 5 plus 2, that's 7. 3 minus a -4, that's -3 plus 4, that's 1. So I have a slope of 7. 7 over 1, 7 divided by 1 is just 7. So that's my slope value. And again, I take a point. Let's say I take the first point. I'll say -4 is my x and -2 is my y. And I'm going to plug all of these values into slope-intercept form. So again, taking y equals mx plus b, we're going to plug in y equals mx plus b. I'm going to plug in -2 for y, 7 for m, -4 for x, plus b. Again, the whole point here is I'm trying to solve for b because I don't know what b is. So 7 times -4 is -28. And then to push this to the other side, the opposite of a -28 is a +28. So I'm going to add it over. -2 plus 28 is 26. So I get a b value of 26. So my equation is y equals 7x plus 26. Y equals 7x plus 26. Right now, I would like you guys to practice a couple problems for me. I'm going to have you try 8 and 9. So right now, pause the video, take a couple minutes, and try this process on problems 8 and 9. So pause the video. Okay, so checking our answers to problems 8 and 9. In number 8, again, I plug the two ordered pairs into my slope formula. I get a slope of -12. So when I take that slope and I took the first point with that slope and plugged it into slope-intercept form, -12 times 2 is -24. I add the 24 over, -24 plus 24 is 0. You can get a y-intercept of 0. So you could write the equation y equals -12x plus 0, or you could just write y equals -12x. In number 9, again, take the 2 points, plug them into the slope formula. Here I have a slope of 5/3. Leave it as a fraction. Plug the values of a point and the slope into slope-intercept. 5/3 times 3 is 5. Subtract the 5 over. You should get a y-intercept of 5. So your equation should be y equals 5/3 x plus 5. So again, in today's lesson, we added an extra step in where first you calculate slope, then you take the slope and one of the points and plug it into slope-intercept form to solve for b like we did yesterday. Then you take your slope and your y-intercept and you write the equation. Notice in all my problems, I kept using the first point when I plugged the values in. As a side note, you could take the other point and plug those values in. You would still get the same value for your y-intercept. So it really does not matter which point you're choosing. Next, we're going to turn over to where our homework is. Today, we're going to do page 26, 5 through 11. One thing I wanted to mention here is that the directions, I didn't cover this before, it said use the value of b and its corresponding letter to solve the riddle. So I'm going to help you fill in some of the riddle squares from the previous 4 problems we did, and then you can finish it when you do the 4 problems for tonight. So in the very first problem here, problem 1, in problem 1, we got a y-intercept or a b value of 0. So if I look down below here, I see there's an answer of 0. This was problem 1. So that means problem 1 matches up with the letter I. So wherever I see a 1 down below, I'm going to write the letter I. Similarly, in number two, we had a b value or y-intercept of 5. So if I go down here, 5, this was our answer to number 2. So that means on any line that has a 2 on it, we're going to write the letter O. And then if we go back to number 3, this one we had a y-intercept or b value of -2. So again, 3 was -2. Down here at -2, this was our answer to number 3. So anything that has a 3 below it, we're going to write the letter T. I think that's all. And then the last one that we did last night, number 4, we had a b value of 8. So going down below, where's the 8? Here it is. So this was number 4. So we're going to write the letter L on any b value of 8 was number 4. So that means wherever there's, wherever there's a 4 down below, we're going to write the letter L. It's like a puzzle. Okay. So then tonight, your homework is just problems 5 through 8. Again, only 4 problems, but these take a little bit more time. You're going to be first calculating your slope, then taking the slope, plugging it in to solve for b. So again, -3 is your x1, -14 is your y1, 0 is your x2, -9 is your y2. Plug those into the slope formula first, then take that slope and one of the points and plug it into y equals mx plus b and solve for b, then you're going to be able to come up with the equation. But again, you're looking for that b value to help you fill in your puzzle down at the bottom. So again, that's our homework for tomorrow. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask or reach out to me. Thank you.